Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So, I hope you had a great night, great morning so far, and ready to close the week strong. So, it will be an interesting one. Um, we'll make sure to try to get ready the best we can and just be open to what the market will give us, right? That's all we can do. So, let me share the screen. There you go. So, first thing first, let's start with the market. All right, so a bit of indecision in the market right now, and that will be interesting to see which side we flip from here. But yeah, price still above the rising 21 DMA structure for the QQQE, so always looking at the Nasdaq 100. So model flipped on a pullback signal, and I'll show you why. But yeah, price still above the rising 21 DMA. It was an inside day, so a lot of indecision. It still looks like flagging to me, so that's why I keep being engaged and not seeing this current action as being too much of a red flag or a big deal. But we'll see. We'll really see today if we confirm that reversal and hook down on the McClellan summation. So in the past few days, so usually on a big rally, so you get those McClellan oscillator to spike much higher than that. Strong rallies are in the 6 to 7 ratings, and now we spiked that 2.5 ish. So we knew it. We discussed that in the last few days. That rally was still pretty weak and thin. We were fortunate to be in the good stuff thanks to TradersLab and trading the liquid leaders, right? So we had good traction, but when you look at the S&P 500, the McClellan solid hook down. We have Brett, short-term Brett almost oversold. And when you look at the NYSE, so the broader market, then you see that Brett is contracting and in a downtrend below the 10 DMA since mid-September. So this is really a stock pickers market. We already knew that. We had good traction in mostly the liquid leaders in the tech space and the AI team. So we stayed there and it was good. But now that the brown market looks to kind of slide down, and we start to see weakness on the McClellan summation with a hook down on the Nasdaq 100. So will we just hook down and pull back for maybe a couple days and resume that uptrend, and finally we can see the breadth broadening out? That's kind of the best case scenario that we'll have to look from here. If that happens, something to consider is brown market is already pretty oversold. So if we see an oversold bounce in the broad market, that should fuel much more momentum, even in the liquid leaders, in the broad market in general as well. But kind of the flip side, and I'm talking about it for a few days now, is the not so good scenario would be that what we're seeing right now is kind of a negative divergence, the broad market being weak while there's only a few stocks and only a small basket of stock working out. And if the broad market makes a new low and we are due for a pullback in the Nasdaq 100, then we can see more sustained and heavy selling. So that's the other scenario that we'll have to look for. But we're not there yet. I really want to see today's session. Do we follow through on that selling of yesterday? Do we follow through on that hook down? Or we hook back up right away like we did the last time? We do have a lot of space from both sides, breadth extensions wise. So if we break down, we can expect some multi-day pullback. But if we flip back up, then again we have space to run. But keep in mind that price is still above the 21 DMA structure, rising one. So breadth is kind of a secondary signal where you have to be aware. But at the same time, when the price is above a rising 21 DMA structure, I rely on my positions. That's what will drive my decisions. Okay, so a bit. So credit spread is a bit more for the broad market, and that kind of confirmed the breadth kind of hook down, new low, and deterioration on NYSE in the small caps as well. So there's some good selling in the broader market, and we saw credit spreads widen out and spiking. So it means that overall investors are looking a bit more risk off. Um, so that's something that we'll have to continue monitoring today. If the spreads continue to spike, then we might have some more risk off signal that are piling up. And if we have that spike and we get a reversal, then just like the VIX, you can see this usually in a downtrend as being pretty bullish and to create space for the next downtrend, right? So that's a good thing when you spike and then everything stabilizes and you still have traction, then you know that you will have another good run because we're back into a more risk on market after that spike. VIX looking good, but no confirmation yet. So we're still inside that wedge, inside that range. It just don't want to spike, but it don't want to break down either. So we're still waiting for confirmation on the VIX side as well. Bitcoin building very nicely that pullback. So we needed time to digest that recent move. We retested the 21 DMA structure with a small shakeout. Now I would look for some strength, maybe some sideway for maybe this weekend or next week, a continuation from here. That's what I'm looking for personally. Like I said, QQQE working nicely, and that's why I remain positive and constructive overall with my exposure and my with my view. So I'm still seeing this as a flag. So let's look at the daily reversal pivot. So if we can reclaim that. Sorry. And yeah, if we reclaim that reversal pivot, then that would be a nice confirmation from price that we have a continuation. And eventually we would love to see breadth following through and that McClellan summation kind of hook back up and make a continuation higher. RSP, yeah, that's the broad market that I was speaking about. So here's the positive scenario. So like I showed, short-term breadth was getting oversold, and that's basically my ideal anticipation setup. So we have RSP, which is the broad S&P 500, so equal weight S&P 500. So pull back into 21 DMA structure, pull back to retest that base structure as well, while breadth is getting oversold. So I'm always looking at potential cracks, but like you know me now, I like to have that contrarian view where when the market pulls back into support and short-term breadth is oversold, then your first scenario have to be to the long side, have to be that we expect a bounce, and that's where the probabilities are within an uptrend. Then if it fails, then you stop playing that scenario, you go to defense. um, so if we break down that base structure in RSP today, and we break down that 21 DMA structure, then that's a different beast. That's a red flag and something that you will have to act upon. And in which case, if we start to see the RSP, QQQE starting to break their daily structures and start to trend below, then it's a question of flipping defensive, and you will see me trim positions, trim exposure, bring down my risk in all non-de-risk position, and basically all only my runners. And they will have to prove themselves if they hold their structures or they break that, just like the market. But yeah, we're not there yet. Like I said, the first scenario is always look for support in the daily structure, especially with bread being oversold. If we can't bounce, then we'll take action. All right, so let's review the positions. And like I said, QQQ is above rising 21 DMA structure. So for me, I focus on my positions. I have good traction right now. EC is going well. So yeah, I don't have red flags at all in my portfolio, but we never know. So first one, ALAB still working nicely off that 21 DMA structure reclaim and retest. Yesterday we confirmed the daily reversal, so very good to see. And that's kind of the first step to get out of that pullback structure. So for me, we have a continuation. I'm very close to my 2R target. It went a few cents away yesterday, but I will be patient and wait to see if we can tag that today. Ideally, I want to de-risk and lower my exposure today, end of week. Monday, I won't be at home or at office. I will be on the road, so won't be able to trade much. So I want ideally today to close the week in the 120, 130-ish percent exposure. So ALAB, even if it's very close to my 2R at the end of the day, I will manually take my trim if it didn't trade. Palantir, really like that chart again. I think I'm talking about this one for 2 weeks now. But yeah, we're building that right side handle. Yesterday was a nice had opportunity as we retested the 21 DMA structure and we made that micro higher low structure on the right side. So I took the trade, and as we closed above the daily reversal pivot, it kind of confirmed the setup for me, and that's why I held at the end of the day. MP. So MP, I was able to de-risk yesterday, so that was nice because with that fade, it's kind of hard to trade this one, but we're still within that base. We're still having that higher low structure on the right side. Uh, we're still building even micro high low right here. So even the very short term structure is still an uptrend. But yeah, it will have to go. That's the same thing that I was saying yesterday morning. Is we want to reclaim that recent swing high that we really never been able to close above. And once we do that, then we could see some breakout and a new trend higher. But yeah, it's definitely a choppy and hard one to trade. But I like the team. I like the overall chart and the recent strength. So I think there's still a play there with MP. Shop still flagging, nothing wrong, building very nicely. Tesla kind of setting up. You can look at yesterday's high for a reversal pivot. I didn't include that in the focus list just because it's a bit too extended from the weekly structure for me. But if you're into playing more tight flags and flaggish structure on the daily, that's a pretty nice setup. JV, nice push, nice confirmation and follow through yesterday. We're above the 21 DMA structure. So keep in mind, when I see a 21 DMA structure, I always expect the retest. So don't freak out if you see some back tests or some weakness either today or early next week. Yes, it's nice when they just work and go right away and break out right away. But always expect your retest after a structure reclaim. Then you'll know and you'll gain information as buyers are they stepping in to defend that structure, or sellers are stronger and we go back below the 21 DMA structure. A bit like this. That was weakness. That was a reclaim and backtest a bit deep. We don't want that, but that's a possibility. So I'm kind of expecting the same thing right here, and happy to be surprised if we follow through and push from here. Robinhood, still one of the market leader. Just nothing to do here, but super constructive. That's the highest close ever yesterday. So that's a strong uptrend. I have nothing to do. My 7-hour target is getting closer. Hopefully I can trim that today. VRT, nice push. So there was some Microsoft news yesterday, but overall the chart is just beauty, right? So that's the setup that we played. That big base breakout right here. We had that breakout, that structure retest again early this week, and now we're pushing into new all-time highs. So that's really good to see. And yeah, I'm on my runner, so nothing to do. I'm just trailing the daily structure. TEM, same thing. Weekly still looking very good on that weekly breakout. Nothing to do, just leaving that position do whatever it likes to do above the rising daily structure. Warner Bros. That was at risk yesterday, but we found support right at the EP high. We held that structure as well at the close. We held the 21 DMA structure. So yeah, it was a close call, but nice support. It was bought nicely on that retest. And now let's see if we can build some right side to it. There's a buyout news on that, so I will never add to my position or share that in the focus list, but that's just good to track for the runner anyway. Celestica, so yeah, it's getting closer and closer to replicate that exact same setup. So we closed to a new high yesterday, and it seems that it wants to break out. So that's good feedback to see those names wanting to break out. And let's see if we have follow through today. Snow, new high above that EP high. So when I say that QQQE and Nasdaq breadth hooked down, and the broader market with NYSE is kind of making a new low, etc., that could be seen as red flag. But anyway, and that's why what I tried to explain. QQQ is above a rising structure, and you see that review of my position. There's nothing at risk. Everything is trying to make new highs, or either trying to get out of the right side of pretty nice constructive cup and handles and larger setups. So that's why you see an Alex being rather optimistic, and not being too defensive, because that's not the feedback that I have in my position and in my universe list at the moment. And yeah, if weakness start to hit the broader market, and what I see instead in my names is false breakout, and they start to break their 21 DMA structure, then that's a different game. But I take decisions and I base my scenarios and my game plan based on the action that I see right now in my portfolio. And right now, I don't have that kind of defensive feedback. Nvidia, new high as well. So we confirmed the hold of that base structure retest. We gapped up. We do have retested that recent swing high, so that was a decent spot. Now I expect maybe some slower trend, but hard to be bearish, to be honest, when you see Nvidia breaking that base, confirming the breakout with a retest of that structure as well, and we're just starting to trend higher. Micron, nothing to do. It's flagging up there, just trailing the 21 DMA structure again. AMD just needs some time to digest, probably. I'm not in a hurry, and honestly, it can do whatever it likes to do above the rising 21 DMA. And finally, Oklo, too extended for me, but it builds nicely above the 21 DMA and just below that recent swing high and kind of that base structure. So we have that tight range. We nearly confirmed a daily reversal yesterday. So that's the constructive action that I like to see, but too extended to be a setup and to warrant kind of adding to my position. It's just nice to see, giving you confirmation that your runner is acting well, but I can't act on it because it's too extended for me. All right, what did we have in the focus list now? Yes, so CRDO. So yeah, CRDO is still shaping up nicely. I wish I would have held my position, but I did not. It's not a worry. I would still look today at the reversal pivot retest. That's kind of the retest of the 21 EMA as well. So I would initiate that on weakness on a retest of that pivot area. ALAB, same thing. So we discussed that earlier, but same thing as CRDO. I would play that on weakness on the daily reversal pivot. ORCL, yeah, it's gapping up, so might not be in play anymore. But I would look at the daily reversal pivot retest. Now that's a bit more weakness that I like to buy, but we never know. So I wouldn't buy that on strength. It's a bit extended right now, but if we retest kind of that area-ish of that recent swing high, We retest the same area with the daily reversal pivot and kind of the top of the 21 DMA structure as well. Then we have a nice confluence of structure to play against on that retest. Next one, SoFi. So good looking chart. We have that base retest and shakeout below the 21 DMA structure. We have the 21 DMA structure reclaim and retest. And you can play the daily reversal pivot confirmation on strength. And last one, our friend Joe B. So yeah, building that larger base right here. So was rejected into that base structure. It was an offering news, but we were watching that recent swing high structure right here that we held. We held a 21 DMA structure as well, and now we're getting tight. We have a clear daily structure, reversal structure to play against. So if you want to play this or add to your position, that might be a good opportunity with that offering news to play this on strength. We're gonna be a bit extended from the 21 DMA structure low, so a bit smaller position. If you can grab that on a bit of weakness on that structure retest, that's even better, as it's trying to create that right side and higher low structure, micro higher low structure on the right side. But yeah, it's looking good. So you can add to your position or initiate. I think that's a good setup. All right, and that's it for the focus list. So CRDO, ALAB, ORCL, SoFi, and Joby. As for my game plan personally, like I said, I'm not gonna be active Monday. We do have some, I don't want to say red flags, but kind of a few caution signals with the broader market, with the Nasdaq McClellan summation flipping down. We do have the credit spreads spiking, but we're getting oversold short term in the broader market. So that's a tough picture to increase my exposure above 150%, which I am now. So my goal from here is really to start trimming down. And I know I'm saying this for a few days and even weeks, but that's such a weird market. And I explained that last night in the Q&A channel. It's rare and it's not common that the market always gives you opportunity to add to your position and always gives you kind of a constant setup flow while you have your portfolio and your runners working. Usually the market setup and everything goes right away. You get overbought and you have to de-risk to lower your exposure, etc., etc. But right now we're just having traction on a very consistent matter, and then the market keeps setting up, and even gets oversold while you get traction, and you continue to have entries in your names, and you have setups in the liquid leaders as well. So that's kind of unusual. So usually when I get on margin around 150, that's kind of my sweet spot to be aggressive. Then within a couple days, usually I trim down aggressively and go back below being on margin. But like I said, right now it's just not easy to do that because the market keeps setting up constantly. So at the end of the day today, I will probably force myself to take more trims, even if I didn't tag my 2 or 7R, just to lower my exposure, maybe cut a few lagging positions. And yeah, just overall reducing my risk, reducing my open heat. and be ready for that longer more weekend for me. So, all right, guys, do you have any questions, chart requests, or anything like that? That would be the time before the markets open. Oh, there's a lot of eat rum request. What I like to do is I have my crypto watch list with like the biggest cryptos, and I like to go through and see how they all set up. So Doge, you have that 21 DMA structure, reclaim, and backtest. That's a nice setup. XRP, weak, but still building high lows in the bottom range of that base. Solana, same as Doge, so 21 DMA structure, reclaim, and backtest. Same thing for Cardano, but a bit deeper, but we still have that higher low. Bitcoin, we discussed that. Trump, I'll remove that. And yeah, so either that we have that uptrend line breakdown and retest, which would signal a downtrend. But you know me by now, I like to look at the long side. So what I see is kind of that base structure being retested. We have potential higher low being made, and we have that 21 DMA structure reclaim and back tests. So you can look at that daily reversal pivot or 21 DMA structure reclaim here on the right side. And yeah, we're still building that nice base. And you have that 21 DMA structure reclaim and backtest set up. So you can look to buy on strength on the right side. Oh yeah, the weekly chart is nice. Yeah, very strong weekly chart. CPNG. Oh wow. I never was able to build to trade that name well. But look, we discussed that last week. That was the scenario. So I don't know if you remember, we talked about this on this day right here. And I remember what I said is I don't like to play those big wicks candle, even if it's super bullish. I like to wait for the tighten up. So give me a tight entry, show me that this buying is absorbed and how the sellers and buyers are stepping in. And right now, that's kind of the perfect setup that I was watching. So we discussed that to see a retest of that kind of structure area, and that's exactly what we got in a tight range on the right side. And you have a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high on the daily. So what you do is just take that recent swing high, and you have your daily reversal pivot confirmation from here with a nice base retest, with a nice higher low structure on the right side, right in the daily structure. So yeah, there's a lot to like on CPNG. first, that's a China name. I don't want to trade those names. So for me, that's a automatic no. If I see a Chinese name, it just not worth my capital. The risk is not worth it. There's enough very good stocks that we can trade. There's enough good quality non-Chinese names. So I don't see the value of trying to catch that. What I'm seeing is that this daily structure is being rejected and rejected and rejected super hard. And now we're kind of making that bear flag. So no, I don't think there's a valid setup here. But if you kind of reclaim that, then that's a different story. You have confirmation that the short setup kind of didn't work out, and the buyer stepped in aggressively to reclaim that structure. So that could be actionable if you don't mind to trade China's name, but for me that's a big no. Not really, to be honest, because I know what was the news, and I tend to, unless that's a, if you have a kind of a gap like uh, CRDO a few years ago in 2023, that's kind of the gap that will put me off. But in the case of Joby, then that's kind of only an offering news. So it's not a big deal. That news is kind of behind once the offering is done and it's the news is kind of digested. So and it's pretty small as a gap. So and also the other thing is we enter on pullback very low. So by the time that you have the gap fill and maybe some sellers that are waiting there, then you probably already de-risk your position. You're already trimmed at 2R, and that trade is a break even anyway. So you can have the cushion and the patience to wait for the right side to build, um, and even trade around your core maybe. So the 21 DMA structure will be rising, and you might have another opportunity to build into your position for a move higher. But yeah, you can expect some volatility around the gap fill. But like I said, once the offering is behind, that news is kind of digested and not a big deal. All right, guys. So 927. Um, you have Alex a bit more on the indecision side today. So when I have my price above rising daily structure and when breadth is expanding, so McLennan summation in an uptrend, that's kind of an easy analysis for me. This morning we have price above rising structure, but we have contracting breadth. So um, we are more in a tough spot that we were the previous days. Um, and that's why I will be much more listening to the information in the intraday tape to see which which side will swing from here. So I will try to update the most I can in my journal during the day. But yeah, we might be a bit more on the cautious side by the end of the day. Yeah, we'll do. All right, so have a good weekend, everyone. Take care. Recharge this mental capital as well. This is important. I think we'll need that next week. And have a good session. So once again, if you have questions, I will be in the trading pit anyway. So take care. Bye bye, everyone.